The number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
Welcome to Spotlight on the Arts. I'm Patrick Cristiano, your host, the publisher of TheaterLife.com, a website for theater buffs in New York City and the Hamptons. We cover Broadway and off-Broadway theater as well as social events in New York City and out here in Long Island. I'm coming to you from the LTV studio in East Hampton, where I have a special guest, an actress, a writer, and a filmmaker, Shannah Laumeister Stern. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming to do this. It's my pleasure to have you.
Thank you. So great to be here.
I'm really excited to talk about all the things that you've been doing. Wow, where do we begin?
Where do we begin? Exactly.
Do you want to talk about the movie first? Do you want to talk about how you came to meet? Shannah has made a movie. Let me tell everyone about that first. Shannah has made a movie called the original Bert Stern, the original Madman. This is a copy of her film. Can we zoom in on that real quick? You got that? Okay, great. So, Shannah happened to be the last wife of Bert Stern, and she's known him since she was 13 years old. So their lives have been very intertwined. So this movie is a very personal journey that you've made. Vanity Fair says a cultural provocateur who defined the creative revolution, the first photographer superstar. Absolutely smashing, a terrific jaw-dropping, candid documentary, Film Journal. So we're going to save the clip for the film at the end, and we're going to talk about Shannah and her process and how she came to be connected with Bert Stern in her life and how they happen to be intertwined in all these ways. And you are now the trustee of the Bert Stern Trust as well.
Yes.
So
I am. Okay, well, should I start at the beginning? Ask me a question.
Ask you. No, let's talk. Let's talk about, because what I found really interesting. You knew Bert since you were 13 years old.
Correct.
Which is a
long time.
a long time, and you got married to him how long ago?
I got married to him about 10, 11 years ago. We had talked about getting married for years, and we finally got married, and so it was interesting. It was an interesting transition from us with knowing each other for a long time to getting married, which was like walking through a door into a whole new relationship and a whole new dimension, for sure.
What you're looking for, yes.
Especially now with the trust, being the trustee, a whole new dimension, because it's a world.
Let's back up. You know what we
Okay.
could do? Because I bet you there's some people that don't even know who Bert Stern are.
Oh, of course not.
So Bert Stern is a photographer. He's the original Madman. He started as a.
He was he was basically one of the pioneers who revolutionized the advertising world in the 50s.
With his very provocative ad campaigns.
Yeah, and he was very instrumental. He turned Smirnoff vodka in the Cold War, with a Russian vodka, into a multi-million-dollar company through his advertisements, and it was a very creative time in the advertising world. And it was when, they were putting they went sort of from cartoons to photography, and they were putting unlimited money into creativity.
Right.
And everything was about how creative could you be.
But what he's really known for to the world is the famous Last Sitting with Marilyn Monroe, where he took the world did not know, he did not know, Marilyn did not know that this was going to be the last time she ever was photographed, and he took this, which was 2 days. Was it 2 days of photos?
It was 3 months and then 6 weeks. So he did 2 shootings they were for 2 days each, so it was like a weekend, and then Marilyn came back 6 weeks later, which was 6 weeks before she passed away. And so, and it was about 2,600 photographs altogether.
And a lot of them were put into a book that is called The Last Sitting. That's a coffee table book that
Yes.
was unbelievable. So just for the people that don't know who Bert Stern is, that's who Bert Stern is. And we have a few of Bert's images of Marilyn. Here's one. You want to talk about this one?
Oh yeah. So this one is. So after Bert did the photo shoot, Marilyn got, I guess, insecure about the way she looked. And I don't know if she's done that before, but this was a vulnerable time for her in her life. And she
But it was also about her wanting to control her image. So that
Probably, yeah. Well, things. Let's just say that it wasn't so much a studio shoot. They really got intimate and crossed line. And when I say, I don't mean that there was any hanky panky going on, but like, you know, she ended up taking off her clothes. She ended up and because he bought lots of champagne and wine and stuff. So Dom Perignon, her favorite wine. Anyway, so Bert.
Let's have that image back. Yeah. So we're talking about the
Yeah.
significance of the red
Right.
X on it.
So Bert, so Marilyn called Bert and said, "Can I see the pictures?" And Bert never sends pictures off, but it was Marilyn Monroe, right?
Right.
So he sent contact sheets off, a few, and mailed them to her. And she said that she would return them. And she crossed them out with like a bobby pin or something sharp, and with an orange magic marker, the one she didn't like. Whatever.
She actually scratched
whatever she saw in the image, in the frame that she didn't like, it was her own personal, and then she sent them back.
Right. So she did send them back.
She did send them back, exactly, which was impressive, right?
I know in your film, Bert said she created art by doing this, which I thought was a very interesting way to look at it.
It is an interesting way to look at it, but I think it's true. I mean, I think that the ones with the crosses and the scratches are so artistic, and she looks beautiful. Whatever she saw, I don't think anybody else sees.
Well, she just wanted to control her image.
Right.
So we have one of Elizabeth Taylor that he took too. I love this Elizabeth Taylor picture. I'm a big fan of Elizabeth. I think it's dynamite.
Yeah, that's. I always call that like the quintessential picture of Elizabeth.
And it was
Taylor.
after her brush with death, because you could see the scar right on her neck, which is really cool. Yeah. And then we have another one of Marilyn, right?
And she.
This is the classic Marilyn, because this one is, everyone knows this picture all over the world.
Yeah, this is nobody knew that she was would take her own life,
Yeah.
and the fact that these kind of
and we have
black
we have
and
one
white.
more of, who do we have? Is there
What
one more
else
picture?
do we have? Kate Moss.
Kate Moss. These are all Bert Sterns. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I don't want to take a lot of time looking
Okay.
at these old pictures. I want to talk about you more, because your partner, you met him when you were 13. Were you a mentor? Did you become a mentor? Was he a mentor to you?
He was definitely a mentor.
And he got you into photography because of that, or
Well,
did you want to be a model? Which
I was a model at the time, and I wanted to be a model at that time, but then we started doing more creative shoots, and I thought he was going to get them out in the world, but he didn't. But we kept coming up with these ideas and going in and taking he would take photographs. So in other words, I have one that's on here of American flag. Well, that happened after 9/11, and we would say, let's do a flag photo shoot, or we would say, let's do.
So all through from 13 until you got married, you were always doing projects.
Well,
with him?
not exactly. So at 13, he took my photograph, and I was. He took me into a studio, and Daryl Hall and John Oates were there, and I was.
You must have been impressed.
Well, my jaw dropped, and I was absolutely nervous. And he threw me up in the set, like obviously he was throwing me in after the shoot. So he's like, "Quickly get there, quick roll," and I was like, and I had braces, and so he hated the pictures, and he didn't ask me back or ask to shoot me again. So when I was 17, I called him again, and I said, "Can you photograph me?" He says I said this, like Marilyn Monroe. I don't remember saying that, but he promises I said that. We went to the rock. We went to Central Park. He put me on a rock. He took a picture, and that headshot got me a movie, like a week later.
Oh wow!
And they literally said, "We hired you because of this picture.
Now, because it was a Bert Stern, or because they liked the picture? Did they know it was?
No, they liked the picture.
So they didn't know it was a Bert Stern.
They didn't know it
Cool.
was a Bert Stern.
That's
I
very
never even
cool.
told them. Yeah.
I like that.
So it was really cool. Yeah, which he has a way of getting who people were, like some.
Bert did, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, that we could see, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's run through some of the pictures that Shannah brought.
Okay. Oh, that's
This
us at our
is
wedding.
this is on their wedding day, which we didn't get the one your photographer wanted, unfortunately.
No,
but he'll
Richard Minsky. Yeah, he'll get another one, but.
Go ahead. What else do we have? Oh, I love this. This is Bert shooting here at one of the projects, and you know where this is?
This is in the Catskills, and the real pictures were under. I mean, we were taking pictures all day, but we went to a waterfall, and we took these too sexy to put on the show, but these very sexy pictures.
Oh.
And the waterfalls, and.
Oh, so you have those too, huh?
You're like, why didn't you bring them?
Okay. What?
Oh, this is the flag that I was telling you about.
Is this kind of replicating one of Marilyn's things that she?
No, this was just one of our ideas. After 9/11, we decided we had to do flag pictures, and we just bought a big flag and wrapped me up. That's in Sag Harbor in front of the window in the attic. And we took a lot of pictures there. That was a studio when he was alive, and we took these pictures. That was how we do it. We'd come up with ideas and go do them and find a place to do them in.
No.
This is so we.
That's Bert shooting, right?
Yeah. So later we sort of identified as mentor and muse, and this is our mentor and muse photo. And so we did a photographic series that played on the mentor muse theme. And this was in it, and it's it was kind of, Bert saw it as a la Picasso kind of. He really kind of liked, especially with me doing more artistic and distorted stuff. I mean, this isn't everybody's cup of tea, but he loved this picture.
Because my companion didn't like it, and my spouse didn't like it, and I liked it a lot.
Right. Exactly. So
and I
Bert
thought it was really weird, and he didn't like the quirkiness of it, which was, and I thought, that's really provocative when you get people that feel strongly about it in that kind of way. Because I felt strongly, I liked it.
Yeah, interesting.
But which is irrelevant, really. It's just. This is you?
This is, we did a Lolita series because he shot Sue Lyons in 1961, who
which
was
is another,
Lolita.
for the audience if they don't know, which is a
Right.
classic image that promoted the whole film.
Yeah, it was
Sue
the
Lyons,
poster.
It was the poster, but
yeah.
it was a very provocative thing that he found.
Yeah, and he shot those pictures in Sag Harbor and East Hampton, all of them in 1961. And there's thousands more. And we went back later, and we went to the American Hotel. This is taken at the American Hotel in Sag Harbor, and we did our Lolita series, and this is one of them.
This is, okay, you know what, this is you shooting film
movie,
of Bert, right?
This is making the movie, yeah.
I
Bert
love
took
this.
that picture.
I
so.
love the concentration and the focus and of you as the filmmaker.
Aw,
It's a great picture.
Thank you.
This is your headshot, because you brought two headshots for us, and they're so dramatically different.
I have like.
This is your other headshot.
Yeah.
Very sultry.
Right. Well, you play different kinds of roles, and you have to put the right headshots for the right roles, especially nowadays, right?
And this is you on working on the film, which is a picture I love too, because it really shows your enthusiasm for the for the project.
Yeah, that is me working on the film.
I like that. So now, when?
Here we are.
What was the? I mean, we know Bert was the inspiration, but when did you decide to make a film?
I decided. Well, I was very close with Bert, and he was still constantly photographing me, and I thought, this is the honest truth. I thought he was very private. He was a recluse, very private person. Mm-hmm. And I thought he was the most interesting man I'd ever met. I thought his story was so interesting. Mm-hmm. And I figured the world would never know it or hear it. And I never thought I could retell it the way he tells it, because he tells it in a way that only he could tell it,
right.
His stories, and so I just showed up with the camera one day, and I said...
So you didn't tell him, you just showed up with a camera?
Showed up with a camera. He took out his camera like this and put it at me. I took out my camera like this.
Sorry, say it again.
He pulled out his 35 millimeter camera and pointed it at me, and I pulled out my video camera, little $500 video camera, really like, you know, before HD and everything. And I just turned it on, and I said, and he said, wow, and I said, I'm making a movie about you. And then he said, oh my God, I was just thinking that. I want to make a movie about you. And I said, but I'm making a movie about you. And then we had this whole conversation. I still have the footage, actually. That would have been fun. I should have grabbed that.
Oh, that would have been really fun.
Oh, well, another time. Next time.
So you guys went back and forth.
Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah, we went back and forth, and he loved the idea because he thought we would make movies about each other. But then when he realized I was making a documentary about him, he did not like it at all. And then
You would never know this from what you got out of him.
I know. Well, we went through stages. So he was not interested in making a movie about himself, but as time went on, he changed. He changed because
he realized what you were doing.
He realized what I was doing, but he was always adamant that it was a movie about us, not something I was open to in the beginning. I wanted to make a movie about him. I felt that putting myself in it would distract me from the story and what I was doing. It wasn't till the last stage of making the movie that I took the turn where I put our relationship in it. At the beginning, I wasn't willing to do that, and he was very upset about that. So then, in the end, when I ended up putting our relationship in it, and he was in Telluride Film Festival for the premiere, the worldwide premiere, he, you know, afterwards we were supposed to do a Q&A, and he got up and came to the mic, started crying, and said that it was a brilliant movie, and went and sat down and refused, said she's doing the Q&A. And I was like, Bert, they're here to see you. It was packed, but you know, he was really, I mean, he was, I think, shocked and surprised. You know?
It's really a wonderful movie, and I think it's really smart that you were able to put yourself into it because it adds a texture to it, and you've accomplished what you wanted because it's really a Bert Stern biography, and you are part of his history since you were 13 to getting married to being now, you know, the trustee of the estate. So we have a clip from the movie, about a 3-minute clip. Do you want to set it up, or do you want to just run it?
Yeah.
You want to tell everybody what we're going to see here by setting it up?
Okay. All right. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot I'm not doing the technical part. Okay. So this is basically my and Bert's story in the film are in segments throughout, and this is the first segment. This is sort of introducing our relationship into the film after 20 minutes in. So
this is about 20 minutes into the film, and it's when we're going to start to realize that we're going to have Shannah in the film as well, and it's going to be about her and Bert, as well as telling Bert's story. Right. But we really do get Bert's story very clearly in this film. So this is a 3-minute segment from the film.
It's been a long relationship, hasn't it?
Known you 25 years.
Only 25 years.
When Bert loved Dorothy, I wasn't born. But like all of Bert's relationships with women, our love affair also began through the lens of a camera.
So I introduced you to Bert, and you were so excited to meet this famous photographer. You were only 13 years old. And I remember you came over and you were like, oh, he discovered Marilyn Monroe.
And then she brought you to the studio. Nice little kid with braces. You look like Jaws to me from James Bond. You had silver top and bottom. So I developed the film. I didn't file them. I just threw them up in the air into a box.
So I guess I wasn't a hit model, was I?
Well, you were only 13. You weren't a model.
What was I?
Roller skater from Central Park. Remember?
And so I called him again when I was 17, and I said that I'd like you to take my picture.
He said, would you photograph me like Marilyn Monroe? And I said, sure. I said, I could do that. And we went onto that big rock, and I said, well, if you want to be like Marilyn Monroe, you have to lie down and put your hands behind your head. And I shot that picture, which I thought was really beautiful. We kept shooting every now and then. When you would call, I never knew what to do with the pictures. There aren't too many. They just got wilder and wilder as you got more grown up.
Wow. I love it. It's a wonderful film that you've made.
So can I just say that when you talked about that, only part of the story, how I ended up being in the film is I couldn't finish the third act, and I hired like a really big shot editor because I was so stuck on the third act. And then I realized that the reason I couldn't finish the third act is because I was this huge part of the third act, and I was like blindsided to the to what was right in front of me, and that's really what creation is.
You were in the forest.
Yeah.
You were too close to the forest to see the trees.
Yeah, but when you open those trees up, when you get past those trees,
Uh-huh.
and that's sort of a creative person's job to be able to, at some point, take back the veil or what's in front of you that you can't see, which is really easy to be blindsided by because it's so close to you. But you always want to get to that nugget because that's the juice, I mean, at least that's how I feel. And when that's when the whole movie clicked. I was struggling, and when I finally got that nugget and we put it in, all of a sudden everyone I showed it to wanted it, loved it, got interested, and so on. So, I mean, I don't want to go on too long, but
No,
it just completely changed the energy, and you just knew it was right. And people hated it. People got angry, but that was perfect. The people who I got a distributor, I got a sales agent, and then there was people who just hated it. You had these two opposite
You can't
reactions.
please everybody. As long as you're getting a reaction, you're
Right.
doing the right thing.
Right.
You're making something positive.
Right. I think that when you have controversy, you probably tapped into something.
It happens all the time.
Right.
Yeah. It's a good thing. But now, Key's art in East Hampton, the Circle, it's 53, the Circle. They're having an exhibition of his work starting next week, and it goes through September 9th, is it?
Yeah. It opens on the 4th of August, and we'll have an opening party. And then the 5th, it opens to everyone, and it goes through the 9th, and it's going to be a great show. It's being...
Well, it starts August, which will be too late for our show. Too early for our show.
Right, exactly.
But it'll be up through the 9th. I didn't want them to
Right. It'll be up through
realize
September 9th.
September 9th.
Correct.
It'll be up through September
Correct.
9th. So you can go see some of Bert's stuff at this Julie, it's Key's Art is what it's called.
Key's Art, yeah.
Key's Art, 53 The Circle in East Hampton. Now you told me earlier you want to write a book?
I do. I'm working on a book titled Soulmates, and it's an autobiographical book, and I've been writing it for several years now, and segments, and now I'm getting serious about it. And I've written my whole life. I've been published. I've done a lot of writing, so I'm taking it on. I'm going to write a book. I mean, it sounds simple, but I'm declaring it for the first time. I've been sort of writing it in the background and not talking about it. Now I'm talking. Now I'm actually announcing it right here on your shows.
Soulmate's going to be about you and Bert.
Yeah. Because he was my soulmate. So I just and it's such a story, in a way, and so it's a story. It is a story. So I'm going to write it. I mean, I am writing it, but I'm going to finish it. I've been writing it, so. And it keeps coming out of me. When you're a writer, you just write. And it keeps, every time I sit down to write, a new segment comes out, a new, prose piece about it. And so I know I have to write it. And I love writing. It's one of my passions. So,
And you're an actress too. I had asked you to do a part in the play that I'm going to direct, and we're going to have the first reading of it at the Keys Gallery, at the Keys Art, on August 12th.
Super.
So you're going to read it. It's called Thief in the Night. Paul Ann Simmons wrote this play, and we haven't put it up in front of an audience yet, so this will be the first time we're going to get an audience reaction. And Shannah's going to do one of the roles. It's a 5-character play, so that'll be another little. I just thought I'd throw that out there since.
It's open to the public, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. People can come to August 12th at Keys Art. We'll do this reading of this play, and Shannah will be a part of it as well. You can see another one of Shannah's sides, which will be a lot of fun. It's all free, so it's it's a cool thing to be happening. What else? What else would you like to tell the audience before we go? Because we have a couple more minutes.
Oh, we do? Well, I guess I now run a trust, the Bert Stern Trust, and I'm not, so basically.
There's a new experience for you, right?
Yeah, exactly. I guess that is where I'm going. And it's been 5 years, and I'm totally getting accustomed to it. But because of this, a large percentage of it was very challenging and tough, right? So I was making movies and acting and writing before that, and I've been writing nonstop, but now I'm getting back out into the world as, I have the time and the space, and I'm over this kind of rough time, and I'm excited to be, and I'm writing articles for some magazines, and I'm excited to be reading the play with you. And there's lots of ideas of next documentaries. So this is like such a perfect way to sort of,
That you're thinking all organized.
Right, exactly,
So
exactly.
we're about to run out of time. Thank
Are
you
we
so
really?
much.
Thank you so much. Nice to be here.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, okay.